It's just devastating.
Heartbreak and devastation is setting in for the town of Luther after a late-night fire destroyed 2 downtown businesses and damaged a third. The fire destroyed the Luther grocery store and the old Luther hardware store. The Luther post office was also damaged. 9 and 10's Katie Birecki joins us live from Luther. And Katie, you just spoke with the owner of the Luther
David,
grocery store.
We'll talk to him in a second, but first I actually want to step out of the way so you can see what's going on behind me. Just about 30 minutes ago, there was a pocket of fire that was just by the post office, and fire crews came just about 15 minutes ago. They're currently, looks like they're still spraying the area, but as you can see, there's still pockets of smoke throughout where this building was. This used to be one large building where the red bricks are and the white bricks are is where the grocery store was, and the rest was the hardware store. And as you can see, complete devastation. You can see some carts, the shelves of the grocery store absolutely melted from the fire. And if you can take a look at what fire crews were battling actually last night. Now, the Luther fire chief says the fire appeared to have started in the grocery store before spreading to the hardware store. And of course, as you saw, there's little left of that building. There is smoke damage to the second floor of the Luther post office, but the rest of that building is okay. And I just spoke with the owner of the Luther grocery store. He says he's really just at a loss for words this afternoon.
I woke up this morning and thought it was all a dream. It's insane.
And as fire crews continue to battle that pocket of fire, there have been people driving by, people sitting out and watching this all unfold this morning. Coming up at 5 and 6, I'll talk more about the cleanup efforts here in Luther. Live in Luther, Katie Birecki, 9 and 10 News.
After Tuesday's fire in Luther destroyed 2 businesses and damaged a third, the community is coming together to raise money for the cleanup. 9 and 10's Katie Birecki joins me live in the studio now with how the village of Luther is pulling together to support their own. Katie?
Whitney, the owner of the Luther grocery store, says he feels better, but looking at the damage left behind is still a shock for him. But what's humbling for him is the fundraiser the community is planning to support his cleanup efforts.
It's, beyond words.
That's how Scott Lucas describes the support he's received from the Luther community.
The community's just been fabulous. This small town just rallies together anytime anybody has any type of disaster, and they're just awesome.
And around the state.
There's people that started GoFundMe pages, and it's just crazy. There's so many people that have cabins and stuff from all over the state of Michigan that come here, and I get support from all of them.
Lucas says 3 days after the fire, they have the insurance estimate.
I have like $25,000 in cleanup money from the insurance, but we're looking probably $50,000 to clean this mess up.
Which is why the North Bar across the street is hosting a fundraiser Saturday with a silent auction.
We are selling tank tops, t-shirts. T-shirts are white. You're having a tie-dye party out front. We are also having hamburgers, hot dogs, potato salad, macaroni salad, and chips.
The bar says they've already gotten so many donations, but it's all a labor of love.
This is our town. We can't look at that every day. There's too many memories there, So we had to do something. Got to pitch in.
And eventually, Lucas would love to rebuild.
We got to have it. You can't leave that mess, or that void in this village. I was born and raised here, and I can't leave a void here like that.
So if you want to come out to the fundraiser tomorrow, it will be at the North Bar in Luther from 9 to 6.
And Katie, have they found a cause of that fire yet?
Well, that's the thing, Whitney. They may actually never know the cause of the fire. Lucas told me they've had the state police, fire marshal, and an independent fire investigator from Traverse City take a look at the damage. The building was decades old and the wiring was old too, which makes it plausible it was an electrical fire. But with the amount of damage, there's little evidence left that would help them determine that cause. We will, of course, stay on top of any evidence to the investigation and how tomorrow's fundraiser goes.
All right, thank you so much, Katie.
Businesses and homeowners were left to pick up the pieces of their livelihoods, their jobs, and their memories. I talked with some members of the Gaylord community about what the tornado left behind and how members of the community are coming together to support each other.
We all just kind of was like, oh, it's a warning. Sometimes you don't take that really serious.
But this time it was. And for Heather Appold and her family, things were serious.
We have a 13-year-old son, Tyler. We all jumped on the floor and just kind of threw cushions on him and protected ourselves as the walls came down and our house shifted about 30 feet off the foundation.
Right now, Appold says they're just processing everything.
We got some memories out of the little corner that we could, you know, baby albums and wedding albums. So just kind of trying to get some memories.
Across town, the business manager at Northern Michigan RV saw the tornado coming.
I look over and I see it way out there start forming, and you can see everything like circling and spinning.
And headed straight for their business.
Not long after I ran inside, you just hear everything start roaring and crashing, and it just gets louder and louder and louder.
I am standing in a pile of RVs here at Northern Michigan RV. Take a look at this one. This one is completely on its side. The tires here on the ground, exposed wiring. You can also see behind me just some of the outside damage to this trailer, and it's completely also on its side. Now you see 1, 2, 3, 4 RVs. This is 4 of 100 that were damaged in the tornado.
We had about 160 in inventory, and there's at least 101 pile all touching each other now. It was pretty much almost a total loss.
But they're all grateful for the community support.
Family, friends, strangers. It's a community effort, and it's amazing to see.
In Gaylord, Katie Birecki, 9 and 10 News.
As far as I'm concerned, they're angels from heaven.
An emotional reunion today at Cadillac Munson Hospital for a COVID patient and a healthcare worker. A woman with one of the worst cases of COVID-19 in Michigan got to surprise and thank the doctors who helped her recover.
She was in the hospital for 29 days and almost died 3 times. But she says through patience, prayer, and healing, she was able to get better. 9 and 10's Katie Birecki is live in the studio now with the touching story. Katie.
Whitney and Kevin, you know it's not every day we get to report on the happy endings that come out of COVID. So today is special for not only the doctors and nurses at Cadillac Munson Hospital, but for one COVID patient whose whole world has been changed. This is what the second floor of Cadillac Munson Hospital looked like today. Hugs, laughter, and tears. For Elaine Harless from Mayo, a year ago today, on this floor, it was not a happy time. It was the COVID floor, and she had one of the worst cases of the virus in Michigan.
I can't remember a lot of that time. I know that I was taken to one hospital. They had no beds, so they rushed me here to Cadillac Hospital. And that was October 21st, a year ago.
Her family was called with terrible news.
The doctors wanted to let them know that I probably wouldn't survive within the week and to start getting my end-of-life preparations together.
But she stayed in the hospital for 29 days.
On the chart notes it said 3 times that almost died.
Elaine says during those 29 days, everyone from the janitors to the doctors and nurses had her care in mind.
They were just amazing, and if it wasn't for them and the Lord, I just wouldn't be here.
So today, she surprised her caregivers.
Look at you! I get to see your whole face now.
Who say they think about her every day and are touched by her thoughtful reunion.
To have somebody like Elaine come back and say, keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Fight the good fight. It was just amazing.
Just keep doing what you're doing because you were so supportive and you shared so much love and compassion to me. And because of that, I can stand here today. Maybe not fully recovered, but I'm alive. And you guys had a big part in that.
Incredibly touching. And Elaine said there are good days and bad days on her road to recovery, but what keeps her going are the nurses and doctors that helped her to get to where she is today. Live in the studio, Katie Birecki, 9 and 10 News.